Today we're going to talk about the power of advertising and how it affects your overall purchasing decisions. Now, some of you may have seen these advertisements for this thing called Lock and Lube. They're inundating Facebook and Instagram with this thing that fits on the end of your grease gun. Now, personally, I've seen this advertisement come up so often on Facebook and Instagram that I just got tired of looking at it, and they finally wore me down. So we're going to give this a test, and we're going to actually see if this thing works or if it's really just a piece of crap. Now, the idea behind this whole thing is that when you use a grease gun, you have to use a lot of force to keep that on the zerk fitting while you're using your other hand to squeeze the trigger, and that becomes really hard. They developed this thing with a spring and a clamp so that the grease goes into the zerk fitting and not out around the edge of this apparatus, getting grease all over. So what better vehicle to test than the wheel horse that has zerk fittings all over it? So we'll give that a try and see how well this thing works. The first thing we want to do is clean off our zerk fitting. This happens to be a zerk fitting on top of the deck spindle. We're going to clean that off good. And we're going to take this lock and lube thing and we're going to clamp down. So we're going to open it up, push it down. Yep, that's snug. And then we're going to use our other hand to squeeze. That's 2, 3, 4, 5. Now let's take a look at what it did. There's just a little bit of grease on top of the zerk fitting. And looking inside here, there's grease inside the bearing that's squeezed out. Let's try this in another zerk fitting. That's easy because you can just go straight on top. But let's find a harder one. Here's a zerk fitting I never get to. Let's see. Up underneath here, there it is, up under the axle. I never get to this one because it's always a pain in the butt. Let's try this. There we go. Stick that on. Just like that. Okay, one-handed operation. Let's see if this works. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll take it off. There we go. And how about that? There's new, fresh grease there. But now we have to put this thing to the real test, and that's that Aaron Snowblower from 1986, because I've never been able to put grease into some of those zerk fittings because they're rusted. So let's see how this thing works on something that's a real-world application. The wheel horse, I'm always greasing it, so it should have worked pretty good. Now, one of the absolute hardest things to get grease in has been this Aaron's. Trying to get grease to come out here on this shaft. And it's a pretty tight fit. So I've tipped the snowblower back. I'm going to fasten this on. I just want to make sure that's good and clean. I'm going to put that on like so and see if it does anything. There's 1 pump, 2 pump, and look at the grease coming out. 3 pumps. Look at that. I have not been able, and it's wet too. You can see this is wet. There's water in there. I have never been able to get grease into this. How about that? Look at the grease coming out of the zerk fitting. Let's try the other side. And we'll try this one. It's a new grease zerk right there. See if we get grease coming out. This one's tight. Oh, I hear it. And there it goes. Okay, take that off. I got 1 more. The grease should be coming out there. 2, 3. How about that? 4, 5. Using it on that snowblower, this is the fresh grease right here that I wiped off. This is the rusted out grease that's probably 20 some years old, that's brown in color because it's got water in it. So I was able to push all that old grease out and put fresh grease in there. Now, some of the things that they say about this lock and lube grease coupler. So it's supposed to lock on and stay on and won't pop off, and it's compatible with most grease guns. Now my grease gun is a Harbor Freight grease gun that I've had for 10 or 12 years, so it fit right on without any trouble. 1/8 inch National Pipe Thread hose connection. There's another O-ring spare seal if you need it. I also got suckered in to buying the 90-degree grease apparatus coupler. Put this on a Zerk fitting in a tight situation if you had to. Now, based on my personal experience, after seeing it with all those advertisements that kept barraging me, this is going to be a really good addition to the shop. I've been able to reach those Zerk fittings that I wasn't able to get in the past, where it's been able to force out that wet grease that's rusted and really not doing the job. I'm able to put grease in there where before, even leaning into that end of the grease gun, it would still come out the sides, and in this, it only goes into the Zerk fitting. For me, this worked out pretty good. But some of the advertisements that we see that we're barraged with on Facebook and social media may actually, in some cases, work out to your advantage. I spent like $30-some on this, so this was not given to me. I'm not being paid by this company or anything like that. I actually physically got sick and tired of seeing their advertisements, so I said, let's see how good this thing is. And I have to say, the Lock and Lube is pretty good. I have received other advertisements for a similar one. I wound up going with the one that seems like they have the patent. Maybe they came up with the idea. So as far as I'm concerned, it's a pretty good product. We're going to use it a lot in the shop. That this was a beneficial video for everybody. Let me know what you think about in the comments section. If you have a question, I'd be happy to answer it. And also, please make sure you ring that bell and click the subscribe button so you can see all my future updates. Have a great week, everybody. Thanks a lot for watching.